Good afternoon. It is May 24th, 2021, and we are doing the rear shocks on a 2011 Kia Soul. An issue that has started to creep up on Souls lately is when you go to remove this bolt, it just spins and spins and spins and spins, and that is because there is a nut welded to the frame, and over the years the weld has become more brittle, and if you use force it breaks the weld, and which normally wouldn't be that big of a deal, except they decided to, there you go, it's in a small cage so you cannot actually access it. What we're going to do now is we're going to cut off the cage. Okay, so it's been about half of an hour, and a lot of that was spent trying to figure out what the best device was for cutting off that weld. And we discovered that first we tried cutting discs, and cutting discs were it's a bad angle to get in right there. What we ended up using was this, because we were able to use that and just sort of slowly chisel the weld away, and then we used the pry bar to pry off the cage. And here's what's inside. It is a square, a very, very large square nut, and as you can see, yeah, the welds, tiny little itty bitty tack welds, thank you Kia, where the thing was holding this to the frame. So what was probably fine in 2011, hell, it was probably fine in 2019. Over the course of many years, they rusted, vibration, and the welds themselves decided to break. So the good news is we have access to the nut. We're going to get a vice grips in there and finally be able to just remove this thing for all time. Okay, slide up to here. So we've got vice grips on the big square nut, and we've drenched everything down with PB Blaster. And now we're going to use the Ugga Dugga device to try to slowly work this thing loose, because yeah, it's pretty seized on there. I think with enough concussive force we'll be able to get it out, but she is fighting us the entire way. That thing right there, that is the thing that has been causing us so many problems. It's garbage now. We bend it all out of shape, and it's just thin sheet metal. But two tiny little welds block completely off the square nut, and yeah. Okay, and now the new shock is installed, and what we ended up doing was slathering the entire nut up there with a lot of grease, because we did a lot of damage getting it out, and we put a lock washer on the back just to make sure the thing doesn't back out unless we want it to. So to recap, we had to cut out the enclosure and use vice grips to remove everything. So in case anybody here ever has a problem with their sole and the top nuts just top bolt is just spinning, this is what you need to do. Okay, so in attempt to do the passenger side in the exact same way, we have discovered that the bolt that goes through the bushing on the shock is actually fused to the metal sleeve in the bushing. We can't get it out, so we are going to have to get a Sawzall with a carbide blade, which we already have actually, but more importantly we need the bolt, which we don't because it's a specialty bolt. So we'll get one from the dealer.